everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time I'm doing a really pretty set of Christmas nails. So I've already removed the gel polish. Now I'm just going in to push back the cuticles, and I'm using my Tammy Taylor Peel and Stick Cuticle Pusher. After that, I'm going to go in with a 180 sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nail. As you can see, I'm only filing on that new growth, which is the natural nail. Just to remove the shine. I'm not filing to thin the nail down, nothing. I'm literally just filing to get that shiny layer off, because if you don't, you will get lifting. Alrighty, and also as you can see, I'm already soaking off that middle finger because she did break it. So I'm using a cotton ball with acetone and just put the clip over it and let that soak while I do the rest of the nails. So we are going to be using acrylic. So first I'm using my primer. I'm just doing that on the natural nail. Remember, be sure not to get it on the skin, because if they have any little cuts on there, it will burn them. So again, I'm using the colored acrylic. And this color is just a pink one that I mixed up. As always, I just mix it up with clear acrylic, and I pour in the colored glow-in-the-dark powders, and this is just in the color pink. And I will leave the link in the description to the glow-in-the-dark powders that I use. Again, I literally just mix it myself. I just poured the little packet of colored acrylic into my clear acrylic, and that's it. And for my brush, I'm using my number 9 brush in an oval shape by Alpha Brush. So I'll be sure to leave that down in the description. And then also, I'm using my Mia Secret pink acrylic. It's just the pink, the translucent pink. And I'm just using that to basically encapsulate that colored acrylic. So as always, just look at your nail from different angles. If you need to add more, then that's fine. But remember not to add too much, because you don't want to have to do a lot of filing at the end. Then I'm also using this blue, which is also a glow-in-the-dark powder that I mixed up. And this blue has been really popular lately. A lot of people actually have been getting like the blue ombre, and it's really, really pretty. So we're going to go ahead and do this one here. And then this one will actually be a two-tone ombre. I'm going to do that same pink that I did on the pinky closer to the cuticle area and blend in that right in the middle. Again, I mixed these colors up. All I used was the glow-in-the-dark powder and clear acrylic. Alrighty, and for this finger, I'm just going to do the plain pink acrylic. Again, this is by Mia Secret. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description to everything that I'm using. And of course, if I'm missing something, just let me know and I'll be sure to give you the link. But this is the acrylic that I always use, is the pink by Mia Secret. As you can see, it's really translucent, which is why I use it to encapsulate my nails as well. And then for the thumb, we're just going to do all blue, same blue that glows in the dark. We're just going to do that over the whole thumb. And usually I do recommend getting a new set, especially when they're doing like colored acrylic, just because when they already have acrylic on their nails, it makes them pretty thick. So I try not to like apply too much acrylic, because I don't want the nails to be like super, super thick. But I also, whenever I'm removing the gel polish, I make sure that I file down a lot on the acrylic to make sure that they're not super thick. So also keep that in mind. Alrighty, so we're almost done with this hand, and I'm also going to go ahead and take off the clip with the soaked off nail. I push back the cuticles, shape the nail a little bit, and then of course remove the shine from the natural nail with the 180 sanding bend. And all of this can be done with a regular hand file. You don't have to use an e-file, but as always, it's just faster and you get to get closer to the cuticle area. I also went ahead and just sized the tip, applied it using my KDS glue. Of course, I'm going to go in and cut it to the same size as the other hand and then shape it into a coffin. Make sure that you measure that nail against the other hand to make sure that they're both the same size. After this, we're going to go ahead and blend it right in the tip. Remember that when you're doing a coffin shape, you want to file the sides at a 45-degree angle and the free edge at a 90-degree angle to make sure that it's really straight. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and apply the primer again, only applying it to the natural nail. And this one, I'm just going to do blue, and then I'm going to come back and add some glitter to it. The glitter that I'm going to be using, I got from Amazon. Actually, no, I got it from eBay, and I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. But it's really pretty. It's like an iridescent glitter with blue and flakes, or not flakes, but snowflakes and Christmas trees. So it's really cute, and that's what I'm going to be using on top of this blue. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the bigger pieces that I want, which are the little snowflakes, and then I'm going to just apply the rest of the smaller pieces around those flakes. And then as you can see, it comes with the little Christmas trees, but she didn't want those. She just wanted the flakes. So I went ahead and just did 2 flakes, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then the rest of the glitter around it. And then of course coming back and encapsulating this with the Mia Secret Pink acrylic. Make sure that when you encapsulate glitter or whatever you're encapsulating, that it's thick enough, that way whenever you come back and file, it's not going to fall off. Again, making sure that it's not super thick, but you do want to make sure that it's covering like your glitter, or in this situation, making sure that the snowflakes are inside the acrylic, and you'll be able to tell. As you can see there, you can see that the sides of the little snowflakes are still sticking out of the acrylic, so you have to make sure you go back and add some more to where they're fully inside that acrylic. Alrighty, so same thing for this hand, except for we are going to be switching it around a little bit. For this pinky, I'm going to go ahead and do it all blue, and then I'm going to add the glitter and the snowflakes on it. As you can see, I'm applying the blue first, and then I'm going to go in and apply the glitter with the snowflakes, and then coming back and encapsulating that. Alrighty, so for this now, we're just going to fill it in with the pink, the regular pink, placing the bead closer to the cuticle area, patting it down, and then brushing it down towards the tip. And then as always, making sure that you wipe around that cuticle area really good. You don't want any of the acrylic on the skin, because if it dries, it's going to be impossible to take off, and most likely you will get lifting. And then as always, if you need to go back and add some more, that's fine. Just place it wherever you need it, and then make sure that you brush it and blend it in really good. And then as always, again, I'm using my alpha brush but in the number 9, and I will be sure to leave that down in the description, as well as the promo code. For this finger, I'm going to do this one all blue, and then I'm going to come back and add some glitter to it as well. Alrighty, so for this one, I'm going to do the two-tone pink and blue nail, and then the thumb would just be all blue. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I will be back. Alrighty, so once you finish applying the acrylic, we're going to go in with a 100 nail file to reshape the nails. You want to make sure that you do not skip this step, because if not, you guys know that once you apply the acrylic, it takes away from your shape, so it's not going to be that perfect coffin shape that you want. So as always, just filing the sides at a 45-degree angle and filing the free edge at a 90-degree angle to make sure that it's really straight. Also, make sure that you pay attention to the way that you hold your client's finger. That way you're not holding it at a weird angle to where you're going to leave the nail crooked. So again, this is a 100-100 nail file, and we are just reshaping the nails. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing to all of them, and after that we're going to file all of the nails. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go in with my fine drill bit. As always, I start filing around that cuticle area, starting from the right side, going over to the left side. Just going back and forth to make sure that I seal that acrylic really good, because any little gap that's in between the natural nail and the acrylic, water can get under there and it's going to cause the nail to lift. And then also filing the rest of the nail with the belly of the drill bit to make sure that the whole nail is nice and smooth. But you want to make sure you focus around that cuticle area, because I promise you, any little gap you leave back there is going to be perfect for water or any type of moisture to get under there, and you will get lifted. And I know that's the hardest thing to prevent when doing nails, is keeping your nails from lifting, but if you make sure you do that, you won't have that problem. And then also something that I mentioned yesterday in one of my videos was that people didn't know whether to use a fine drill bit, a medium drill bit. So the reason why I use a fine one is because, as you can see, I'm not having to do a lot of filing other than just filing around that cuticle area. But as far as having to file the rest of the nail, I'm not having to do a lot, just because I'm pretty good now at having a, smooth application. But when you are a beginner, it's a little bit harder to have a really even application or a smooth application of your acrylic, which means that you're going to have to do more filing, or your nails are going to be more thicker, which means you're going to have to do more filing. So in that case, you will need something that's a little bit more coarse. You can do it with the fine drill bit, but it's not going to remove as much product at once, so you're going to have to keep going back and forth to file all the acrylic off. So again, if you're only filing a little bit, like around the cuticle area and to smooth out the rest of the nail, then a fine drill bit will be fine. If you're still at the stage where your nails are thick and you're having to file more product, then I would suggest you use a medium drill bit. And then of course, to remove your gel polish, then you would use a coarse drill bit or extra coarse, but it all just kind of depends on what you feel comfortable with. I would suggest just going ahead and getting one of each to try it out and see what works for you. But for the longest, when I first started, I used to do everything with the fine drill bit. Yes, it did take longer, especially removing gel polish with a fine drill bit, and that's when I switched over to a coarse one, and it's much easier and much faster. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and finish this off. We're gonna we're gonna buff the nails. As always, when we're buffing, this is to make sure that the nails are nice and smooth. And then as always, make sure that you feel on the nail to make sure that it's smooth. If not, go back and buff a little bit more. But we're going to go ahead and do this to all the nails. After we finish buffing, we're going to go ahead and dust them off and wipe them off. And we're not going to do much polish on this set, just because, of course, we did the colored acrylic, so we don't have to. And yes, I did forget to file this one. Usually, the last finger that I do with acrylic, by the time I start filing, it's not all the way dry, so I'll wait till the end to go back and file. So sometimes you will see me come back and reshape some, but again, that's only because it wasn't dry, since it was the last one that I did. Alrighty, so I wiped the nails off, so now I'm going to go in with my OMG Pink, and I'm also going to be using my Perfect White Gel Polish, also by Madam Glam. As you guys know, I do have a promo code for them, so I'll be sure to leave that down in the description. So we are going to be doing 2 coats of the Perfect White on each finger, which will be the 2 fingers that I left clear with just the Mia Secret Pink, which will be this index finger, and then also the other finger on the other hand. Also making sure that you wipe around the cuticle area to make sure there's no polish on there. And then of course we're going to go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds. Same thing for this ring finger. We're going to do 2 coats of this Perfect White Gel Polish. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go in with my Crystal Princess bling. I'm gonna use my Mia Secret Gel Resin, and I'm gonna be applying those on the fingers with the white polish, and it's basically going to be like an ornament made out of different color rhinestones, which I'm going to use my AB, the pink ones, and some blue ones, and I'm just going to make a big circle out of them right in the middle of the nail. Now also going to be using a little bit of caviar, and I'm going to apply that at the end. It's just going to be like in between the little gaps of the rhinestones. Alrighty, so as you can see, I applied the little caviar and then I sprayed it with the activator. So I'm going to do the same thing on this finger. Apply the glue right in the middle wherever I want my bling, and then just go in and make a circle out of the rhinestones. Again, I'm using my blue, my pink ones, and then the AB ones. Alrighty, so now for the fingers with the ombre, I'm going to do a coat of my IBD gel top coat. And then we're going to go back in and apply some bling as well as caviar. So I'm going to go ahead and use my wax pencil to place a few rhinestones just scattered around. I'm going to be using the blue ones. I'm going to do like 4 or 5. And then I'm going to come back and use my caviar. I'm using a cuticle pusher to pick up the caviar and just sprinkling it over the top of the nail, making sure that you turn your finger over to the sides to make sure that you get a full coverage over the whole nail. After that, we're going to go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other hand. Again, you applied a layer of your top coat, which I'm using my IBD gel top coat. After that, we pick up the rhinestones and place them on the nail. Now, you don't have to do the rhinestones. You can just do all caviar, but I think it looks better whenever we apply the bling, like in between the caviar. After that, we just go in and sprinkle the caviar over the top of the nail. And then as you can see, we're doing this while the top coat is still wet. You don't want to cure the top coat yet. Just do the bling over the top coat as well as the caviar and then cure. Also make sure that you kind of pat the sides in so they're not just hanging off the nail. And then now I'm gonna go in and draw a little bow over the little ornament, and this is just in the color OMG Pink by Madam Glam, and it is a gel polish. So basically I'm just doing like 2 sideways triangles and they meet right in the middle, and then once that's cured I'm gonna come back and add like the little what would it be, a string or something, just hanging from the top. Alrighty, so I did the same thing on this hand, and then I'm also going to go ahead and apply my IBD gel top coat on this middle finger, the one with the glitter, and then I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and outline this bow in black, and I'm just using my black nail art paint. And as you guys know, I get these from my local Dollar General, and they're only $1. So again, I'm just outlining the bow, and then I'm also going to draw the little string to where it looks like it's hanging from the top, and then just adding a little bit or just like a few lines to the middle of the bow. And after this, we're going to go ahead and apply the IBD gel top coat on the rest of these nails. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and reshape this nail just because after you apply the caviar, it does take away from your shape. So I gently reshaped it, and then I did a top coat over it. And then as always, wiping some of it with my finger to where it don't make it look like melted plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this hand off, and I'm going to place it under the light for 60 seconds. And then for the other hand, on the finger with the little glitter, the one in the middle, we're going to be doing like a little icicle design on it. I don't know what it's called, but I'm just going to call it a little icicle design. And basically it's just like little icicles hanging like from the cuticle area. So for that, I'm using my white polish by Madam Glam in the color Perfect White. And it is a gel polish. So as you can see, I'm wiggling the lines as they're going down, and then connect them all at the top closer to the cuticle area. And then after this, I'm going to be using my white glow in the dark powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top of that white polish, and that way it gives it a little bit of a texture, kind of like snow. So that's why we did a top coat first and then did the little icicles, so that little powder will literally like dry inside the acrylic, or sorry, not inside the acrylic, but the powder is going to dry inside of that white polish, and it's going to give it a little bit of a texture. So you do want to make sure that you do the top coat first and then come back and do the icicles and sprinkle the acrylic powder over the polish, and that's it. You don't have to go back and add another top coat, and it will stay on there. So I went ahead and outlined that bow as well, and then doing the IBD gel top coat on the rest of the nails. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go in and do the top coat on this one as well, and then you can do the top coat like over the bling as well, to where they look more rounded like ornaments, which is what I did. Or you can just leave them, you know, and do the top coat around them, but I did want them to look more like ornaments and more of a rounded shape. So we're gonna go ahead and place these under the light for 60 seconds, and that will be it. So now I'm going in with my clear pineapple cuticle oil, and we're just massaging that onto her cuticles. And here is the final look. They turned out really pretty. Those colors all go really well together, and that glitter is just so beautiful. So I'm also going to show you how they look like in the dark. Here's just a normal picture of how they look like, and then here is what they look in the dark. As you can see, they're really bright and pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at GetNail32, and I'll see you guys next time.